Welcome back to the Mickelson Racing Channel, and this is 5 reasons why Zeus thinks you should buy a Caprice PPV. As always, we gotta collect our weather data before we do anything radical. So let's go see if we can find Mr. C's weather report lurking around here somewhere. Oh, what do we got here? Mr. C's weather report says, hot enough to do something cool. Before we get into today's video on the Caprice, we have to replace the serpentine belt that's shredded. So you guys can see here, we're missing a rib on our serpentine belt. And that actually happened a while ago before we even got to the track, and I decided to race on it anyway. Well, we've got a brand spanking new serpentine belt. Let's just go ahead and throw that on before we get into the video. I think everybody's happy with the belt change except for Zeus. What do you think of that belt, buddy? Does not approve of the old belt. Well, good. That's why we got a new one on there. The first reason Zeus thinks you should buy a Caprice PPV is for the bitchin' exhaust note. Oh yeah! Did you see him perk up? Zeus likes the Caprice exhaust. This car is equipped with a Brian Tooley Racing Night Fury cam, which is similar to their Stage 4, and it does have long tube headers as well as a 3-inch stainless steel header back exhaust. Now, this idle is amazing. That brings us into the second reason you should buy a Caprice PPV, is the performance availability. Zeus is really crazy about all the performance availability available for the Caprice platform. Don't you, buddy? So this car has all sorts of performance add-ons. It has a BTR Night Fury cam, pace setter, long tube headers, 3-inch header back exhaust with MPP valve mufflers built into the exhaust system. It also has a pretty aggressive tune in it, and it runs on 93 octane. Other performance modifications we have, it's got C6 Z06 wheels on it, front and rear, 18, 19-inch staggered. We do have 325s on the rear with a 7.5mm spacer spacing those 19-inch wheels out just enough so we can clear the fenders inside and out. We also have this car lowered on CX Racing coilovers. Now this thing is way low, about 4 inches lower than the original ride height. And that does make for a pretty aggressive ride, although still comfortable and very good for handling purposes. Another pretty awesome modification we've got on here is the Camaro rear differentials are a bolt-in upgrade for the Caprice PPV. The Caprice PPV comes with a 273 rear end gear ratio. Now that's great for cruising on the highway and getting pretty good mileage while you're driving around at 70 miles an hour, but it's not that great for performance upgrades. So what this car has in it, it's got a Camaro third member bolted into the rear subframe. Now this particular model has a 327 rear end gear. You can also option them with a 345. Now that has increased performance considerably over the 273. Another really significant upgrade to this car is the ZL1 brakes that are bolted onto this unit. As you can see in here, we have ZL1 Brembo 6 pistons on the front, and we have ZL1 Brembo 4 pistons on the rear. Now that makes the braking ability for this over 4,000 pound unit really superior to what the stock formation was. Another incredible upgrade for this Caprice PPV is that it has full BMR rear suspension that's bolt-on for a Camaro, a 5th gen Camaro. Much like the Z01 brakes and C6 Z06 wheels, a lot of this stuff is bolt-on. So now we can climb underneath and we can see the bolt-on kit BMR suspension for a 5th gen Camaro. Much more solid, much more rigid, much more tunable. The final performance addition we've had to this Caprice PPV is these 17x10 VMS Racing drag wheels. These are for the rear, and they're equipped with Hoosier DR2 drag radials. Now, this is G8 fitment. Zeus definitely approves. This is G8 fitment, and like all the other stuff, you can just bolt stuff on that is fitment to other vehicles. CTSV, 5th gen Camaro, G8, Chevy SS, you name it. A lot of this stuff is bolted right onto the Caprice PPV. Now, this is all the stuff we currently have modified on our Caprice PPV, and I will admit, we did not build the car. Shout out to Remington. You did an excellent job speccing and building this car, but this is just the beginning. Mickelson Racing Channel is going to take this car to the next level. The third reason you should buy a Caprice PPV is for the ride quality and comfort. Now, this is a big car, a long car, and a heavy car. That makes the ride quality really superior to many other vehicles. You get in a lot of sports cars like a Camaro or a G8 or a Corvette even, and those weigh low 3,000 pounds, 3,200, 3,400, 3,500. They don't weigh a lot. So that makes the suspension really stiff and the ride quality really jumpy. The Caprice weighs in around 4,200 pounds. So that makes the ride quality a lot better, a lot smoother ride down the highway, soaking up all the bumps and such that make you have a better experience on the road. Another thing is the comfort. Now, these are the stock Caprice seats, and they do leave a little bit to be desired, especially in the bolstering department. They are pretty flat, and they don't really keep you in your seat on corners and during performance maneuvers and such. However, they are a long car, so you get lots of legroom both in the front and in the rear seat. You also have good seating position, a great steering wheel feel, and all sorts of other performance things that make you feel at home in the driver's seat. I could take this car in an 8-hour round trip and I could be perfectly comfortable when I arrive back home. That is one of the key features to consider when buying a performance vehicle. The fourth reason you should own a Caprice PPV is for its uniqueness and rarity. Now, there are only about 18,000 Caprices imported to the US from Australia. Now, all of those were imported for police use only. Some of them being the higher option 9C3 with a full interior, and most of them, like ours, being imported as the 9C1 with very limited options, ready for all the Caprice accessories to be installed. Now, because these were imported for police use only, a lot of them were beat up, destroyed, sold for parts. I mean, not all 18,000 are even available now, and this car is only 9 years old. So as time continues on, these cars are definitely going to become more rare and even more unique. A lot of people mistake the Caprice as a Chevy SS, even as an Impala, and if they really don't have a clue, even as a G8 sometimes. Now, this makes a conversation piece at the gas pump, when you're pulling into your store, when you hit the racetrack. You're able to find new friends and discover a common interest between more people. Now, that is a really cool piece about owning a Caprice PPV. The final reason you should own a Caprice PPV is because of its burnout capability. Well, folks, I don't know what the car looks like yet, but we had 174 mile an hour wheel speed on that unit. That was full 6 gear. My bad on that. That sums it up, everyone. Those are the 5 reasons Zeus thinks you should buy a Caprice PPV. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe right here in the corner of this video. Make sure to leave a comment below. That really helps out this small channel grow into something a lot bigger. We'll see you next week on the Mickelson Racing channel.